So here are 12 things about the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and the Fold 8 Ultra that almost no one is talking about. What's up guys, Sal here. So first up, if you're pre-ordering the Z Fold 8 lineup, make sure to use my links in the description. You'll get an extra $100 off on top of all these offers. Alright, first up, a lot of people are saying the white Z Fold 8 doesn't have stereo speakers anymore, but that's actually not true. It still has dual stereo speakers. The difference is where Samsung placed them. When the phone is folded, you still get proper stereo separation with one speaker at the top and one at the bottom, just like any normal smartphone. But once you unfold it, both speakers end up on the same side instead of opposite sides like previous Galaxy Folds. So the sound feels like it's coming mostly from the left side. It's still stereo, but because both speakers are so close together when unfolded, the sound stage isn't nearly as wide or immersive. Interestingly, this only applies to the regular Z Fold 8. The Z Fold 8 Ultra keeps the traditional speaker layout, so you still get proper left and right stereo separation. Next, everyone knows Samsung has reduced the crease on the Z Fold 8 lineup. But did you know the crease actually looks better on the regular Fold 8 than on the Ultra? Well, there's a big reason for that, and it's Flex Mode. Flex Mode has been one of Samsung's signature foldable features ever since it debuted on the original Z Flip back in 2020. But surprisingly, the wider Z Fold 8 no longer supports it. The Z Fold 8 Ultra, however, still has the Flex Mode support.
Oh, Flex Mode is not a thing anymore.
So why remove it from one model but not the other? Apparently there are two reasons. First, because of the wider design, the hinge can't reliably hold different angles like previous Fold models. Second, it's all about the crease. According to a Samsung representative, this was an intentional decision to reduce the crease even further on the regular Fold 8. And yes, the Fold 8 does have slightly better crease control than the Ultra, but removing one of the most useful foldable features just to make the crease a little less visible feels like the wrong trade-off. Just like the S Pen, Samsung seems to be sacrificing practical features for improvements most people won't even notice day to day. The upside is that the hinge feels lighter now. It's easier to open and close than the Ultra because there's less resistance. In fact, once you start opening it, the hinge almost pulls itself the rest of the way open, which is actually a nice side effect of removing Flex Mode. You can still use the Fold 8 in tent mode without any issues. Next up, Mark from Tom's Guide asked a Samsung executive why neither the Z Fold 8 nor the Fold 8 Ultra supports the S Pen anymore. The answer was basically that Samsung prioritized making the phone thinner over keeping the S Pen support. Mark then brought up exactly what we've been saying for months, that most people would happily accept a fraction of a millimeter of extra thickness if it meant keeping the S Pen, especially on a larger display like the Fold. The Samsung executive basically said that they aren't willing to make the phone thicker. He said the S Pen will only return once they can add it without compromising the thin design. And that's the ironic part. While Samsung says the phone has to stay thin, competitors like Motorola, Oppo have already shown that you can build an ultra-thin foldable that still supports a stylus. So at this point, thickness isn't really an excuse anymore. Moving on, one thing about foldables is that the crease always looks amazing when the phone is brand new, but after a few months of use, it usually becomes much more noticeable. Take the Oppo Find N6 as an example. When it launched, the crease was barely visible. A few months later, it looks bad. Will that happen with the Fold 8 lineup? Apparently not. Iceuniverse says a Samsung engineer has been using a Fold 8 prototype for 3 months and the crease hasn't changed at all. Likely because Samsung's new perforated titanium support layer helps maintain the crease over time and even has a slight self-healing effect. Of course, we'll only know if that's actually true after months of real-world usage, and that's something I'll be testing for my long-term review. Now, both the Z Fold 8 and the Fold 8 Ultra have anti-reflective inner displays, which is a great upgrade. But what about the cover screen? Does it get the same treatment? Well,
No.
Samsung only applied the coating to the folding display. The cover display is still the same as last year. What's funny is that Samsung did the exact opposite on its trifold phone. There, the cover display got the anti-reflective coating while the inner display didn't. Here is the other way around. Classic Samsung move. give us half the upgrade this year so they can market the other half as a breakthrough next year. Moving on, Samsung upgraded the aperture on the S26 Ultra, giving it noticeably better low-light performance. So did the Z Fold 8 Ultra, which also has a 200 megapixel camera, got the same upgrade?
No.
The Fold 8 Ultra still uses the same f1.7 aperture as last year. Speaking of cameras, the upgraded 50 megapixel sensor on both the Z Fold 8 and the Ultra is made by Sony instead of Samsung's own ISOCELL sensor used in the S26 Ultra. On paper, the specs are identical, but Sony and Samsung sensors have different image processing characteristics, so it will be interesting to compare the results. Now this isn't about the Fold 8, but the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 and the Watch 9 are now getting 5 years of OS updates. Previous Galaxy Watches came with 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security patches, so Samsung has finally added an extra year of software support, which is nice to see considering how expensive the Watch Ultra 2 was. Again, if you're planning to pre-order the Z Fold 8 lineup or the new watches, use my links in the description to get the best deals. Now, if you want to see the 15 biggest features of the Z Fold 8 Ultra, then click right here and I'll see you there.